Hi guys, so the Justice Secretary Dominic Raab appeared on the breakfast show on Friday morning where he tried to excuse both the slow pace at which oligarchs are being sanctioned, but also the, and how can I put this, grace period for which the sanctions kick in. Now this is following criticism the UK government has faced from both the US and the EU over how many individuals have been sanctioned. He also wanted to inform people that post-Brexit Britain is open for business, whatever the heck that means. Have a listen.
Boris Johnson has said that 100 oligarchs will be sanctioned. Are we oversensitive about releasing their names? Because we haven't had that list yet.
Well, no, we don't release the names in advance for the obvious reason that we, first of all, we don't want to give them advance sight because then they would move their assets.
But they're doing that already, aren't they?
Well, they are to some degree, and that shows you the impact that we're having. And
What the heck? No, please tell me he's not being serious here. So he said, we can't release the names because that would allow them to move their assets. And then he was asked, well, they're already moving their assets. And his response to that was, yes, see, it's working. This is insane. In the same breath, he said, we're not going to release their names because that would allow them to move their assets. And then he turns around and says, yes, but they're moving their assets, which means our approach to this is a success. This is insane.
Of course, what we want to do.
Well, then we should get on with it, shouldn't we?
Sorry, can I finish finish answering the question?
Dominic, it would be better to finish here because you've already embarrassed yourself.
One of the things that we do is we just reduce overall the space in Western markets for them to place their assets. You're right, we should get on with it, and that's what we're doing. At the same time, the UK is open to investment, open to business. That's right.
What? We're talking about sanctions on people who are laundering money, people who are corrupting politicians, people who are dumping cash in property in London, for example. We're not talking about people investing in the country, creating jobs, building factories. Now, maybe what Dominic is trying to, this is a dog whistle to, for example, maybe the Saudis or the Chinese or some other countries to say that, don't worry, the Tory party is open for business. Okay, we're just focusing on the Russians here. We're still willing to take cash from anyone who wants to deliver it to their local MP. You just need to register in the country, funnel some cash to the Conservative Party. Don't worry, we're just focusing on the Russians for the moment, but we're still open for business.
We're not having a carte blanche ban on people putting money in the UK. We want that for jobs, nor are we against...
For jobs? I've never seen somebody describe corruption in this way. Yeah, well, they're creating jobs.
All Russians. We are targeting, and that does take a bit of time, those with links to the Kremlin, those with dirty money or with blood on their hands.
Why does it take time? We know who these people are. You can find them on Wikipedia. You go, okay, Putin, people connected to Putin, his members of his government, for example, people who have some sort of relation, he has, members of his family are connected to this. And look, I'm going on Wikipedia. Surely the British intelligence services have better data than Wikipedia. They know. Dominic Raab should know. He used to be the Foreign Secretary.
Because that is not just the right thing to do, it is also the most effective thing to do.
What's a bit of time?
Well, you need evidence and you need a legal basis for doing so.
You are the government. You can sanction people. You have that power. You don't need... You can freeze assets. That's what you do all the time. You don't wait until a trial has been completed and then freeze assets. No, you can, when somebody breaks the law in the country, you can freeze their assets. You have the power to do that. Why are you not doing that? Obviously, we know the reason why they're not doing that.
And the minute we've got that, we apply the sanctions.
There have been fears, we've heard from the Defence Secretary, we've heard from Boris Johnson, we've heard from you, that there have been concerns about Russia's intentions towards Ukraine for weeks, for months. So this list could have been drawn up much earlier and we could have been more prepared, couldn't we? Or the government could have been more prepared.
Well, we've been worried about Russian money for years, which...
Well, then if you've been worried about it for years, why haven't you sanctioned these people before? Like, we knew this was happening. There was a build-up on the border. It's been going on for weeks. It went on for weeks and months even before the invasion. And why were these people not sanctioned before the invasion? Once again, you have the power to do that.
Which is why when I was Foreign Secretary, I introduced the Sergei Magnitsky regime of asset freezes and visa bans, first of all on those guilty of human rights abuses, then extended to corruption. We have been a world leader. When it came to Belarus, the UK was out there in front of the European Union. They followed, and indeed it came up with more ambitious sanctions following our lead.
So he's just, well, what is it with Dominic Raab where he says one thing and then he says the absolute opposite in the same breath? So we led the way, and then the EU came up with better sanctions in a sense. Now, going by numbers, we can see here Russian sanctions, the number of entities sanctioned since the Russian invasion by the European Union is 490. For the UK, it's 16. Now, you say, well, the European Union is much bigger than the UK. I don't know how that's relevant, but if you want to go down that road. But then if you look at Canada, Australia, Switzerland, they have much higher numbers than the UK. So that argument doesn't fly. So I really have to ask the question, why is Dominic Raab attempting to answer these questions? It's a complete and utter waste of time. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.